Hey everyone, as you probably already know, O.D.T Escape or Die Trying is my all-time favorite video game. I believe it is the greatest video game ever to have been created. I have made many videos and fan pages of O.D.T in hopes that it will give the game the exposure that it deserves. In this video, I'm going to be exploring the backstory and lore of the game's main protagonist, Captain Lamat. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on his story. You cannot choose to play as Captain Lamat, and for this reason, his story is different from that of the players.
26 Serventagium, under the authority of Captain Lamat.
Captain Lamat, a man of great experience and strength, a natural-born leader with dauntless courage and an incredible sense of honor. Within O.D.T, he is the leader and commander of the Nautiflyer's crew. He is the captain of the ship and the main narrator of the game's story. After a terrible epidemic broke out in the homeland of Calais, hope for the future of mankind was beginning to look grim. The disease had already decimated the city's population, and normal conventional medicine proved to be ineffective. It was decided that the Green Pearl, a magical orb with profound healing qualities, should be immediately transported to the city to begin the process of curing the sick.
Our mission has one aim: to end the deadly epidemic using the Green Pearl's power.
The only man capable of leading the operation was Captain Lamat. Due to his past victories, he was selected by the authorities to make the dangerous journey to deliver the Green Pearl to the city of Calais. Otherwise, many more would fall victim to the disease. The captain's personality is described in the O.D.T manual as having a steady demeanor, suggesting that he is a calm, calculated, thoughtful commander. During the journey, the captain carefully recorded his logs. Due to precious time and the lives of millions on the line, the captain and his brave crew had no choice but to fly over an unmapped region known as the Forbidden Zone, a mysterious area of danger and chaos. Captain Lamat kept records of the trip, which he refers to as ship's logs. He wrote that 7 days into the journey, everything was without incident.
Since we took flight 7 moons ago, the crossing has been without incident. As time is now pressing, we are forced to fly over uncharted regions.
The captain also noted in his logs that the Green Pearl had caused magnetic interference.
The Pearl shows signs of magnetic activity, though I pray this will not disrupt our journey.
Sadly for Lamat and crew, the ship got caught in a severe lightning storm. The turbulence caused the Green Pearl's glass container to shatter. Being the hero that he is, Lamat, with no regard for his own safety, reached out and saved the Pearl just in time. The Pearl did its best to shield the ship from total destruction, but a bolt of lightning caught one of the engines, sending the ship into a crash landing. The crew did not have enough time to land safely and instead ended up crashing on a dark tower in the middle of the ocean. Although the ship was severely damaged, those on board were not injured, and Lamat quickly gave orders for the crew to collect repair materials to mend the aircraft. It is at this point in the game where the player interacts with Lamat for the first time. He will give you a mission briefing, instructing you to find bottles of gas to reinflate the ship's balloon, and then he will utter these famous words.
But we'll also need some gas to reinflate the balloons. Search through these buildings and bring us back some gas. May the powers of the Green Pearl protect you.
It is during this time that Lamat writes his lengthy log. I will read it word for word. This is found in the game's manual of O.D.T, written by Captain Lamat himself. From the ship's log of the Nautiflyers, under the authority of Captain Lamat. Some may say it was foolish to fly over unmapped territory with such a valuable cargo on board. I would reply that the cargo's value made such a decision imperative and robbed me of any real choice in the matter. The Green Pearl, with its extraordinary powers, must be delivered to the city of Calais, otherwise many millions will fall victim to the epidemic, which even now is decimating the population. It would have taken too long to take the Nautiflyers over known land. We simply had to risk a flight across the Forbidden Zone. Now, however, the decision appears to have worked against us. I am afraid we may have failed the citizens of Calais, and perhaps the epidemic will even spread across the whole of Tenansen. If this happens, I feel I will be responsible. The ship is severely damaged from the crash, this is true, but we may be able to repair it if we work quickly and in harmony. Unfortunately, we need gas to reinflate the Nautiflyer's balloon, and this will be more difficult to come by. I will need to dispatch one of the crew on a search for more. I do not even know if the Green Pearl and its container are safe. If they are lost, our operation may be in vain, and I feel certain that if we could transport it to Calais, the epidemic's spread could be stopped. Its powers seem to protect us as we fell from the sky, and though we are trapped here now, without it we would surely be dead. So I must delay my decision no longer. One of the crew must be sent out alone to find the gas which could still set us on our way. We appear to be atop a dark tower. I concede that further exploration would appear to be deadly, and yet it must be done. This log gives us valuable insight into the desperate situation of the crew. As the crew was sent away, the captain remained by the ship. Amidst the stormy conditions, darkness and heavy rain, a deviant appears and attacks Lamat with a toxic smoke grenade, catching the captain off guard.
The Pearl shielded us from complete disaster. However, it was clear that the ship had suffered severely, so I set the crew on reconnaissance while I remained to assess the extent of the damage.
The creature knew it would not stand a chance against Lamat in a fair fight, so it had to resort to cunning tactics. With Lamat unconscious, the deviant proceeds to steal the Green Pearl and also kidnaps the captain. With both the Pearl and the captain now missing, the citizens of the homeland are faced with dying a slow and painful death at the hands of the epidemic. The player's story is separate to that of the captain's. With the completion of each level, a cutscene will play, giving us a look at the ongoing adventures of Lamat. We next see the captain waking up from his unconscious state with an obviously sore head. He appears to be locked away in a prison cell in dark, damp, primitive conditions, but he soon realizes he is not alone. A non-aggressive creature is also locked away with him, who communicates with him using strange magical means.
On waking, I found myself in front of an unusual being. Using strange means, he told me that long ago, his ancestors and their evil master reigned over my people from their floating palace in the sky. Eventually, they fought back, building a huge tower to reach and defeat the tyrant. Push.
Lamat begins to learn about his connection to this strange tower, realizing that he has ancestors who were once ruled over by the Mayan god of death and disease, Puch. Puch reigned supreme from a floating castle until the people had constructed a tower tall enough to destroy him. The war between the people and the deviants had begun. Lamat at this stage was still learning about this, as is the player. It's important to understand that within O.D.T. there are a lot of Mayan associations. There is Lamat himself, named after the Lamat star, a four-directional yellow Mayan zodiac, which represents new beginnings, Venus, ripeness, the southern direction, the color yellow, and the animal rabbit. The player can even find the Lamat star within the game, as a texture on a wall in level 4, the jails. You of course have Puch within Mayan mythology. He is the god of death and the ruler of the lowest level of the underworld. He appears as a rotting corpse in the mythology with an exposed ribcage and skeleton. Since he is associated with all things death related, he was known to be represented with the head of an owl. and R-Puch was also known to frequently wear bells on his body. The realm of Tenantzin, in which the game takes place, is named after an Aztec mother goddess representing fertility, motherhood, and creation. You also have the level 4 boss, Ekhau, which appears to be several Maya names in one. He may be named after the sun god, Ehau, or may be named after Ekchuha, the patron deity of merchants, or he may be connected to the Mayan zodiac of the same name. Regardless, we can clearly see the Mesoamerican themes of the game. Even some of the early levels appear like that of Mayan ruins. It's also interesting to point out that this room in the game, located in the jails, the painting seems to tell a story. The story is this: construction is starting on the tower. People are dragging blocks of stone and materials to build the foundation. Further on, you can see the use of animals dragging the blocks. Look carefully in the background. The tower is in the early stages of being built. This is essentially the evolution of how it came into being. Notice again, the structure of the tower has been built. In the last part of the painting, the tower is finished with the Mayan Lamat star glowing brightly in the sky as the 4 workers use teamwork to finish the construction. Now the people can reach the floating palace to destroy it. Lamat frequently talks about his ancestors in the game. These men are his ancestors, the Lamat people.
The recovery of the green pearl was becoming an obsession. I had to escape.
With the progression of the game, we next see the captain in frustration. He knows he must escape his prison cell to fix the ship and contact his crew, who by this point are frantically searching for him. Suddenly, Lamat begins to demonstrate the incredible magical power gifted to him by the green pearl.
Though trapped, I realized the pearl had somehow affected me.
Out of the way! Get back!
The pearl is attempting to help him escape. This suggests that the green pearl is more than just an object. It has a consciousness and awareness to it. It has the ability to protect, not just to heal. The pearl wants Lamat and his crew to succeed. It is revealed in the N64 version of the game, the Nintendo version. Lamat has the power due to touching the pearl when he was on the ship. Remember when he dived to save it from being smashed? That's when he absorbed some of the pearl's energy, and he now uses that to escape his cell. Lamat is now able to shoot green lightning and lasers from his hands. By directing the energy toward the bars, he fires off the green power. It takes him a few attempts to control this new ability, but he quickly manages to strike the bars, causing them to break, and allowing him and his new comrade to escape the cell.
Maybe this power could help me. We were free.
With freedom in mind, Lamat and his companion wander the dangerous corridors of the jails. The captain, being an intelligent man, worries about being ambushed.
I was afraid of falling into an ambush, but my companion seemed to know the place like the back of his hand. Or just about.
When all of a sudden the floor gives way, and the friendly creature is left hanging on for his life. The benevolent captain attempts to save his friend.
Hold on, I'm coming, okay? Don't give up, okay? I'm coming. Don't worry.
When he is once again ambushed and attacked from behind, falling straight into the dark pit. It's during this time that the player may choose to explore Lamat's prison cell to pick up various items. Lamat regains consciousness within a strange room, tied to a medical table and subjected to painful experiments. He is unable to escape. There is no sign of his companion, but the captain notices a deviant, who is known as the deviant scientist, directing his attention to the monitor in the room.
I was beginning to understand. At last, forgotten elements of the Tenantzin history were becoming clearer. I realized my ancestors had beaten R-Puch, defeated his creatures, the deviants, sheltered in the tower as the palace crumbled into the ocean,
and the men fled aboard our Push's aerostat fleet.
Lamat begins to understand his connection to the war between his people and Push's deviants. Here, Lamat learns that his people had been victorious in the war. We see beautiful images of deviants fighting with men, the ancestors of Lamat. We see airships similar to that of the Nautiflius and the palace under siege. The floating palace from which the tyrant had reigned had now been destroyed and had fallen into the sea. The construction of the tower was a success, as it was built to reach the suspended palace. Lamat's ancestors took the airships that belonged to Push and fled the area. This is all a part of Tenantzin history. We see a book in the room, written in a foreign language with a clear depiction of the Green Pearl, but Lamat does not know how the pearl is related to all of this. Before he can learn any more, he's electrocuted by the scientist. Possibly this is done to activate certain ancestral memories that lie dormant within the captain's genetic coding.
However, the Green Pearl's significance remained a mystery.
Lamat soon awakens from his experiments. He uses his strength to break the chains and escape the medical table. This is the first time that we see Lamat use his skills as a fighter. The deviant scientist attempts to stop the captain's escape, but Lamat responds with a direct strike, knocking the scientist cold. Let's see that one more time. I told you Lamat was a badass. Now, he does not kill the scientist as we see later on. The deviant was just knocked out. I think this speaks to the benevolent nature of the captain. He could have easily killed the deviant while he was on the ground, but he only did what was necessary for self-defense. Now imagine this. Had this have been Lamat's corporal, second-in-command Ike Hawkins, we would probably have seen the deviant's brains splattered around the room. Ike is known for his rowdy personality, as it is said in the manual.
I didn't know what experiments I had been subjected to, but I felt I had enough energy to reach my crew, and I hoped that they had managed to find the Green Pearl.
Now Lamat is free once again. He leaves the area, and for the first time since the fateful crash, we see bright blue daylight, showing that the storm has passed. It is around this time that the player will meet Lamat in-game. Before you meet him, you will collect a pearl, but it's not the green one, it's the dark pearl, the purple pearl. Now depending on what essential items you have collected during the game, such as gas to reinflate the balloon, and container pieces to hold the pearl, and also depending on the difficulty level that you played with, you may or may not unlock the final stage, the temples. You may get the bad ending. This is the bad ending.
The crew was waiting at the top, ready to leave. I hoped the purple pearl would hold similar powers to the green. How could I have known its poisonous influence would make the epidemic worse? Now, as I write these lines, I know I am riddled with a disease, and I feel so ashamed that I fled the tower before discovering the secret it conceals.
Oh my god. So in this bad ending, the crew never found the Green Pearl, couldn't access the final level where it is hidden, and on top of that, Lamat thought it might have the same powers as the Green Pearl. Not only was that incorrect, it also made the disease much worse due to its poisonous influence. As a result, Lamat himself was infected. He says in the cutscene that he felt ashamed that he had fled the tower, which makes me believe that in this bad ending, Lamat and his crew were probably vilified back in the homeland for making things worse than they already were. I have a theory, just a theory, as to why I think the Purple Pearl made the epidemic worse. We have the concept of duality going on here. Green for good, purple for evil, yin and yang. Since the Green Pearl is the cure for the epidemic, could it be that the disease originated from the energies of the Purple Pearl, since that one has the opposite effect? Rather than heal people, it kills them. Maybe the epidemic started from the Purple Pearl, just a theory. So of course that isn't the true final ending, because if you play the game correctly, O.D.T does not end here.
Well done, you fulfilled your mission. But the pearl you found is not the green pearl. Give me the gas you picked up. I'll bring it over to the crew.
Keep on exploring the tower, as you have to find it at all costs.
Instead, we see Lamat climbing the tower. Now that the storm has passed, Lamat takes his chances and begins to climb the cliffs of the tower. How brave and courageous is this captain, climbing the cliffs of such a dangerous place with no safety equipment. Keep in mind at this point, Lamat is closer to the bottom of the tower than he is to the top. He needs to reach the top in order to find his ship and the crew, which had crashed on the rooftops. This is a very long and perilous climb. The captain loses his footing a little, but he manages to pull himself up. He reunites with his old friend.
As I climbed, I found my prison cell companion alive. I was about to discover the secret. Push, the embodiment of evil. His soul had been locked inside 2 pearls, green for good, purple for evil.
Now before we continue, let's take a look at this. We see our Puch in his humanoid form. His soul locked inside 2 different pearls. Again, the concept of duality, good and evil. Does our Puch want both pearls so he can free his soul? Or does he want to combine both pearls to control the entire realm of Tenansen? Lamat does not have too much time to think about this as his old friend attacks him.
Convinced that I possessed the pearls, the deviant became furious with me.
Holy shit! How strong is Captain Lamat? The deviant dives headfirst, Lamat ducks, grabs the deviant and throws him off the tower. He is no ordinary man. Next time someone starts trouble with me, I'm taking a lesson from the captain in Lamat martial arts. The famous Lamat lights out and the great captain's cliff suplex. People often ask me, why do you love Lamat so much? I love him because he is incredible. You could put him into any video game. Let's say you put Lamat in the Dark Souls universe. He would laugh in the face of the hardest enemy in the game. Then he would suplex the bastard off a cliff. That's why I love Lamat. After the player gets into the last level, the temples, you will find the green pearl, and you will be able to defeat the final mega boss, our Puch. And then escape the tower by using a small hot air balloon which takes the player to the top.
At last, victorious and free. Our comrade reached us at the top of the tower. For our part, we had managed to fix the Nautiflyers.
We see Lamat in the bridge of the Nautiflyers. The crew had successfully repaired the damage, so with the purple pearl, it obviously worsened the epidemic. Here the green pearl outright cures the disease in a matter of hours.
The green pearl was so powerful, we cured the deadly epidemic in just a few hours. Our mission had been a success. We could scarcely believe it was over. I had even prepared a small firework to celebrate.
Classic Lamat, he always takes care of business. He knows it was the best course of action to rig explosives on the weak spots of the tower in order to wipe it off the map. Leaving the tower intact may cause problems in the future. If another crew of soldiers was to crash on top of it, history may repeat itself. They would have to go through what Lamat and his crew went through, so destroying it was a very good idea.
I knew things would never be quite the same again.
Lamat knew the experience had changed him. Nothing could be the same again. With the epidemic now cured, the crew were viewed as heroes back in the homeland. However, Lamat still had something he didn't mention.
I didn't mention it, but I could feel a new power coursing through my veins.
So now Lamat has the demonic spirit of Ar-Puch surging inside of him. His red snake-like eyes reveal a new power, as he says. And that is the end of O.D.T 1. You might not know there was going to be an O.D.T 2. That's right, a direct sequel to the first game where Lamat was going to become a deviant. I have very rare pictures of what the deviant Lamat would have looked like. Check him out. Thank you so much to the Psygnosis France O.D.T team for sending me these amazing pictures. It looks like Lamat is half man, half deviant. You can see on Lamat's throne there are Aztec or Mayan looking hieroglyphs in the stone, showing that the O.D.T team were going to continue with the Mayan and Aztec themes. You can also see what appears to be a globe, probably of the Tenantzin region. Maybe Lamat was plotting world domination, and on the throne there appears to be a crystal ball, possibly one of the pearls. And that is Captain Lamat's story within the O.D.T universe. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and my own personal opinions and thoughts on the Captain's story. Please check out my gigantic O.D.T playlist. Because it's my favorite game of all time, I think I'm close to like 150 O.D.T videos. So if you want to see or know more about the game, definitely check that out. I'll be making plenty more O.D.T related videos in the future. Thank you for watching. May the powers of the Green Pearl protect you.